Okay. Okay, so this is your answer. So for this kind of question, there are many relationship, right? And there are so many variables. Um, so for this exercise, I really want you to form a map, like a mind map, that reflects all the relationship shown in um, the paragraph, so that you don't get confused and uh, don't forget the important information. So let's see how I form my map about this exercise. So we have, like a hypothesis. There's a hypothesis posits that posits it like hypothesize, like they argue, it's argue, right? They argue that the extraterritoricity of languages. So basically, we don't know what this mean, but they already explain for us that that is the how prevalent, right? And I mean the how prevalent non-native speakers are, and grammatically complexity are inversely related. So we have our first relationship here is that the prevalence of non-native will be inversely related with grammatical complexity. So I can write it like GC here, and which the ascribes to the attrition are more, the attrition of are more is more. So they actually explain why it happens, but like we don't have to note that here, because I just want to find want to form a map that reflects the relationship only. Okay, so moving to the next thing, focusing on two characteristics that are positive indices. So they are positive indices. This means that they have positive relationship. They all rise or fail together, right? Of grammatical complexity. That's it here, right? There are two things that are positive indices. That's one here is the first here is fusion, right? Okay, they actually explain it very clear here. And we have the second one is informativity. So we have the our claim here. The claim is the outcome is inconsistent with the LNH hypothesis. So back to what the hypothesis said that there are inverted like inverse relationship between uh, these two things here, right? Between the exotericity and grammatical complexity here, and they said that the outcome is inconsistent. That means the claim is that the two thing here actually has the positive relationship. It means that they are like that. You understand?
Ish.
And GC. So the claim is that, right? And we need to here support this. We have to prove that. Find the proof for that, right? So the Shcherbakova analysis, the answer is showed a slightly positive correlation between GC and fusion. So we need to find the relationship between exotericity here, exotericity, uh, and GC, right? But the answer is showing us the relationship between GC and fusion, which is already um, which already exists in the text in the paragraph. In the paragraph, they say that fusion is one of two positive indices, right? So it means that they actually fall, rise and fall together with GC here. So that's not what we need to find. That does not prove anything. And the answer B showed a slightly negative correlation between GC and exotericity. So we need to find that the positive, right? We need to um, that's actually are proving the hypothesis, not the claim, right? So that's also wrong. And see here, Shabakova analysis show a positive correlation between fusion and exotericity and between informativity and exotericity. I think our that's what we need to find here, right? Because um, we know that two thing here is the positive indices of grammatical complexity, right? And when two thing here is has the they said that the fusion has positive correlation with this, and informativity also have the positive correlation with this. It means we can infer that grammatical complexity also has the positive correlation with this, with exotericity, right? Like A has the positive correlation with B, and B has the correlative positive correlation between with C. We can infer that the A has a correlative positive correlation with C. That's our logic, right? So here is the here is the basic transitive property, right? Transitive logic. Um, transitive property, right? So that's actually our answer. And D said that it showed slightly negative correlation between GC and fusion and GC and informativity. It actually proved the reverse, prove against what we need to uh, what the claim said, right? Right. They are against what the claim said. You understand now? Hello.
Em nghĩ là câu giải của em không đọc hiểu được ạ.
Okay, so let me. So for this kind of exercise, you do not need to like know anything about like what the topic said really, because I mean that's not even necessary. We just need to know that there's a hypothesis and there's a claim, and the claim are against the hypothesis, and we need to prove that claim, right? And it actually shows a lot of information, that is the relationship between those variables here. I call these are the variables. Let this be A, and this be B, let this be whatever C or D, right? And I'm forming a mind map here, like not really a mind map, but like a map that actually show the relationship between these variables here, right? So first we have the prevalence of non-native speakers, also known as the exotericity of language, right? I can like I can really I could simply set it write it right here is the exotericity. So the exotericity is um, inversely related to grammatical complexity. Do you actually know what is inversely related? What does it mean? Do you know? So
Em không biết ạ.
what? Do you know what this mean? Inversely related. So inversely related is the other way to say two things are two things has have positive relationship. It means that if you already learned the linear equation, right? And we know that if the slope is positive, it means that the two thing the variable x and y is rising or is rising together, right? It's like the graph is like this, right? when x um, when x is go up and y also go up, so that's we call the positive relationship between x and y, right? And it also means that like so so we have that the exotericity is inversely related, right? So it means that if we call the exotericity is x and grammatical complexity is y, like this, we have our their graph is like this. When x um, increase, y decreases. So that's we call the um, negative correlation or relationship. You understand?
Yeah, I think I do only know.
Okay, so tell me the actual meaning of positive relationship here. Tell me again. Can you explain again, like in the most simple way? Hello. In the most simple way.
Ờ, ờ, có phải là tìm cái explain cái gì cơ?
What?
Explain cái gì đấy ạ?
Explain what does it mean when they say two things are inversely related?
Ờ, thế là một cái variable nó đi lên cái còn lại đi xuống hả anh?
So if we consider like we consider the thing, the exotericity and like grammatical complexity is the variables here, right? Because we let them be the simple x and y in the in terms of like mathematic thing, right? we we just actually acquire from the graph, the paragraph that they um like for example, if this thing rise, this thing increase, like the prevalence of non-native speaker increase, the grammatical complexity will decrease. So that's the inversely related. You understand? And the graph is will be like this. Will be like this here. The decreasing one here. Just like that. Oh, do you understand?
Em có, em đang phải một cái tác một tí.
Okay. So that's my way to actually make those sign here imply that two thing, like the arrow go in the um, opposite way like this will imply that they have inversely they have negative correlation. So you need to learn this because that's that's one of the best way to quickly jot it down. And the fusion and informativity here is two positive indices. The positive indices, this means that they also have the positive correlation with grammatical complexity with the GC here. And this exercise also apply the principle, the very basic principle of logic is that is transitive property. Means that if A has positive correlation with B and B has positive correlation with C, we can infer that A has positive correlation with C, right? Like if I have if I have my money increases and my health also increases. My money increases, my so my health also increases. That's the positive correlation between money and health, right? And when my health increases, my happiness level, my yeah, my happiness level also increases, right? So that's also the positive correlation. So I can infer that from those two things here, I can infer that money, when money increases, my happiness level increases. Okay. Make anyone what? Okay. So that's the that I just want to talk about the logic thing here. Okay. So really we have the transitive property, and I bet that you already know about that property because it's like A equals B, B equals C, so like A equals C. That's a fact. That's really that's everyone know this, right? So here just that exercise is all about correlation and a bit of transitive property. You can also do this. So let me change the exercise a bit. If we have A has inverse um, has negative correlation with B, B has negative positive correlation with C. So what can we infer with between A and C? The relationship between A and C.
mấy cái vừa là Mo với cả Lex là thầy. Thì mấy cái bọn này này.
What? What do you say?
Đây bọn này là Mo, đây là Mo với cái đây là Lex đúng không?
Yes.
Thế thì nghĩa là hai cái A bằng B, B bằng C. Vậy thì A hơi nghĩ là bên.
Uh,
Dạ.
cái mũi tên mà ngược chiều ấy, the arrows that go in opposite direction actually means the relationship is reverse. Is
Oh.
inverse. They are inversely related. They has like
Okay.
negative correlation.
Okay.
Like if it actually means that if A increases, B decreases, and we have B increases, C also increases. That's what they means. Okay, yeah. So what can we infer about the relationship between A and C? Apply the transitive logic I've told you. Mm, Oh my god.
Transitive logic là gì cơ ạ? Cái A bằng B và B bằng C thì A bằng C đúng không ạ?
Yes,
Ok, ok.
of course. That's a transitive logic.
Con chả bao giờ như tên con nhớ mỗi mình formula thôi ạ.
Like if, like in everyday life, you already compare at least once the two things together, right? Like this pen has the same size with this pen, and this pen like has the same size with your, like your phone, so you can infer like from A to C. Mm. So what parts are you not clear about? Which part?
Con đang cố compare A, B, cố tìm B. Cái này.
What? You find B? Find B what? Was
Cần phải đi tìm B à?
no, you don't need to find B. I need you to find the relationship between A and C from two information here. Okay. So your answer is two arrows with the same direction like this. Okay. So do you actually take the gist here? Like if, like for example, if I, why do you think that a it actually means that A increases, C increases, like A and C increases together, rise and fall together. And what do you think that will happen? Like we already know that A is inversely related. That means A increases when B decreases. So when A increases, B decreases. B decreases lead to C decreases. So when A, here I will write it down. A increases when B decreases. Like go up. So when B decreases, C also decreases because B and C has positive correlation, right? It's when B increases, C also increases. B decreases, C also decreases. So from this we actually know that A increases when C decreases. So the arrow should be like that. They should go in opposite way.
Ok, ok, em hiểu rồi, em hiểu rồi.
Yeah, it's just that, you know, when you apply that those logic thing in, so please let's do not look at the map. Can you write down the map again, the relationship between them? Like,
Cái câu như vậy thầy.
yeah,
Ờ,
because it's really, it will be very hard to move on if you do not um, understand. Okay, so that's just that, like, so from that, do you actually take the gist of this exercise here, of this question here? Do you know what they means? Like, look at, look back at the map here. Like, if I write it more directly, I will write it like, when GC increases, um, fusion also increases, and when GC increases, informativity will also increases. So we have three relationship like that. That's the big one. That's the big one. And the two um, extra information here will get us to the, will lead us to the right answer, right? Please read the answer choice again, like read the answer choice C again and see if it's right to the logic I just refer to. So what kind of here? Look at the screen. Look at the board. Um, what kind of correlation is this? What I'm pointing here.
cái gì à? Inverse related inversely related
Yeah, but it is negative or positive.
or positive. Cái
No.
này á, cái này á,
Yes.
cái này thì positive mà.
No. Look at the arrows. They go in opposite direction.
Cái này đi lên mà thầy. Ờ, cái này không đi lên à? Cái này này, từ từ. Cái này thì đang đi lên mà.
No, when they go in opposite direction, it means that they have negative correlation. You understand? And when two arrows go in the same direction, like GC and fusion here, that's when they have positive correlation. So here
Thì như
is
là dấu
positive.
thì như là âm đúng không? Kiểu âm cộng âm thì bằng cộng negative cộng negative thì nhân negative thì bằng positive cái đấy á.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually the multiplication, multiplicative property. Just like that. Yeah. Here is the negative. When they go in the opposite direction, that's how I signal the negative correlation. You understand?
Ok, thế ừm, nghĩa là cái này thì negative và cái này là positive đúng không ạ?
Yes.
Ok,
Um, the the negative here is the correlation. Okay. So I mean the inverse to say A and B are inversely related. Okay. It also means that A and B, A has positive no negative correlation with B. Okay. And it also, the other way to say A increases when B decreases. And it is also, it's also equivalent, like equivalent to A decreases when B what? B what? Increases or decreases?
B increases, right?
Yeah, B increases. Okay, so that's just that, you know. Oh my god. Please move to the next. Too many. When you actually get the gist, it's it's much easier, you know.
Nhiều từ khó hiểu quá không đọc được ạ.
Okay, let
Nó không
me help. I mean, apply the same strategy I've told you, that we form a map, we call out the variables, we identify the variable and identify the relationship between them, right? Just that. You really need to master that kind of thinking. I mean, when you reach a certain level, you don't even need to jot down the thing here, the variable here. But okay, so let's see this. Like, I mean, when you pay too much attention to the heart, to know, to understand the difficult word, you will miss the key relationship between them, the key pattern. Oh my god, why this so long? Okay. So water flowing around an obstruction, gray vortices, pattern of swirls by varying size. So um, water flowing, like the flow of water, like in the stream or in the river, something like that, right? And like um, there's an obstruction, you just imagine there's a flow of water going, like they flow through the rock. The rock is like an obstruction, so by that they will create like vortices, like the swirls here, the pattern of swirls. you you can imagine that, right? Like water flow through the rock in the stream, and they have the swirls. You know what swirls mean? Hello.
Rules mấy cái spiral gì ạ? Mấy cái này á, cái này thì em biết.
Cái swirl chính là cái xoáy nước ấy, nó
Ừ,
gọi là cái
em
xoáy
biết.
nước. Ờ, đó thì a varying size, tức là nó có nhiều cái kích cỡ đúng không, tức là có xoáy to xoáy nhỏ đúng không. By detecting the vortices, fish can determine the size and the position of the obstruction. So fish can determine the size and position of the rock by just like detecting the vortices here, detecting the swirls. They can sense the swirls, and from that they can sense the obstruction. They can sense the rock. You understand? Simple as that. I bet you have to know what swirl mean, right? And like thinking about the obstruction like a rock or something like that. Obstruction, the thing that prevents them, like the rock or anything that stand in the way, in the way of water the fish swim, right? So testing by Euro, okay, using models of three head shapes. So once you read this line, you have to immediately think about forming a map that contains like three levels of head shapes. We come from the narrow to intermediate and wide. Right? High ratio of width to length. Show that for large vortices, fish would be better able than wide headed fish to distinguish general disturbance in the water. So this exercise, they don't show out the relationship immediately, right? So we have two things here. We have the size of head shape of head. Like the size of head, we have narrow, we have intermediate, and we have wide. Like you just need to imagine that there's a fish that has small head, and there's a fish that has big head and narrow, like in between them. Okay, intermediate is between wide and narrow. Okay, so with three sides of head shapes, we have different level of the ability, like I call it the ability to sense disturbance, sense turbulence in the water. The ability, like ability to detect or sense the obstruction, right? Hmm? You understand? You follow that, right? And like they are forming like a hypothesis that something there's some correlation between the size of head and the ability to detect obstruction. You understand it now? Like if like the size of head increases, ability also increases, something like that, right? They are we can predict that, right? And okay, okay. So we have the first information that um, for large, oh, we already have that the large vortices here, the large, the size of vortices, but I'm going to talk about it later. So I just continue to jot down here for large vortices. The large vortices like the large swirls, big swirls. You understand? So for large vortices, fish with intermediate heads would be better able than wide-headed fish to distinguish between vortices and general turbulence in the water. So we have it here that intermediate intermediate better than wide. Just that. Better than wide in terms of the ability to detect obstruction, right? And a second team research has therefore hypothesized that in low visibility conditions, so we have the hypothesis here. We need, we always need to identify what we need to prove, right? I already said to you whether that is hypothesis, a claim, or like something. Yeah, it's it's what we need to prove. So what we need to prove in that exercise is here, from here to here, right? So they hypothesize that in low visibility conditions, low visibility conditions, intermediate headed fish will be more likely than wide headed fish to detect obstruction that create large vortices. So yeah, just we need to. So after that, we already know have the relationship out there. Okay, so what we need to prove is intermediate better than wide. Like um, this these two sentence has the same thing, has the same meaning here, right? They has the same claim, almost the same, right? And it's basically intermediate, better than white-headed fish in terms of ability to detect obstruction, like detect the rock. Okay, let's see answer A. A study using obstructions that create large vortices in low visibility conditions found that the intermediate headed black sea bass bumped into the obstructions just as often as white-headed fish did. So we need to support, right? So that's wrong, because this we are proving intermediate better than white-headed fish, right? So they so when they say as often, they bumped into obstruction as often, it means that they have the same level, the same ability of detecting obstruction. Okay. So for B here, they said that white-headed bumped into obstructions more often than intermediate-headed black sea bass. More obstructions. Then, so when they say the white-headed bumped into more obstructions than intermediate, it means that they are worse, right? They are worse at detecting the obstruction, right? Because when they can't detect the obstruction, they bump into them more often, right? Like, I mean, if I can sense the rock, of course I will not bump into that, right? You understand? Hello?
I'm not too sure.
Like, if I can sense, I can detect an obstruction in front of my eye, of course I will not bump into that, right? So when they say white-headed fish bump into more obstructions, it means that their ability to detect that obstruction is worse than the intermediate-headed fish, right? Think that's very simple, Please try to use the common sense.
Anh ơi, em cả tuần nay mệt lắm rồi ạ. Với cả là hôm nay sáng mãi được em cả tuần nay em nằm ngủ trong đất một lần rồi ấy, anh ơi. Rất là mệt mỏi.
So like you don't have the mood to study today?
Không phải em vẫn học thì em phải học nhưng mà kiểu bị mệt thôi ấy.
Yeah, like
Em bị mệt
you're
lắm.
tired.
Cả tuần nay em cả tuần này em vừa thi bài AP của em lần đầu tiên. Cho em thì
So
em
what's the score? Is the score good?
Nói thật em cảm giác là thầy rush quá cho em chưa hiểu đến nỗi đấy mà thực ra là em nghỉ kiểu tổng cộng là một tuần đấy thầy. Đấy, đấy, em nghỉ lâu. Ờ, đi học lại được 3 tuần em nghỉ mất một tuần rồi ạ.
Okay.
Nên
So is the
như bây giờ
AP will have the calculus, right?
em không học em không học AP Calculus, sẽ không học AP toán, em học em tập của gì ạ? Môn
Only
môn lịch sử
literature,
cơ ạ.
like the
Lịch sử
comprehension.
cơ ạ.
Ah, okay.
Trường em có học học nói thật nó là human geography rồi mà cũng em nghĩ là nó cũng kiểu hơi giống history, nó cũng về trái đất hơn ấy. Cái cần là học trường em có cho học cái đấy và có cho học thêm coding. Một cái kiểu thì em coding thôi, em chỉ học một cái mà vừa
Okay.
mới thi xong, cho nên em tưởng hôm nay toán toán bị mệt cười đấy.
Okay. So, you want to solve like some easier question, or I can actually let those continue with this question next time if you feel better, when you feel better.
Dạ chị em mấy cái này em vẫn học đọc được chả hiểu cái gì, đọc nó dài quá em. Câu này câu này bên này em đến một cái này thì có mỗi mình là hai rồi, chỉ có hai sentence trong cả câu hỏi, cái này chỉ có ba cái.
It actually not too much information. Actually, they just, I mean, they write so many things to just explain what they are talking about, right? The logic thing is very little when you jot it down here. Like actually here they just have three, yeah, like three relationship in the question one, and there might be actually only one line of logic of relationship, one line of relationship right there. Like they take too much word, like the way they write this paragraph is very wordy, right? But the actual information that makes sense, the information that makes sense, just so little. The core thing is so little, and the peripheral thing, like they they write a lot. Okay, so I will turn to more, I think, easier question for you. Okay, I mean you will have to learn this kind of question anyway if you want to take the SAT. So what we need to do now is just put up the work when and wait until you feel better. But you have to cope with it anyway. So just please remember that.
Em biết là phải học như kiểu
Yeah. Go easy question. Because I really don't want to turn into other topic when you haven't mastered it. I mean, I will go back one more time, like from the start, everything. Like we have phase one, you just and learn the basic and cope with several hard questions. And when the phase two, I go everything like from the start, but you only need spend time solving the hard question only to just go to the SAT test to really maximize your score. Advanced. No, what is that? Ooh. Why it takes so long to open this? Textual easy here. The textual easy. Oh my god. How many lesson do you take today?
Lesson gì trực tiếp á?
Yeah, I mean
Rồi đến 3, 15, 15, không phải 9 ạ?
nine. Each has 45
Chín là có
minutes.
một
45 minutes.
45 phút nên là
Yeah.
một tiết là ăn trưa mình trưa luôn cho nên thì nói thật chỉ có 8 thôi.
So 8.
Dạ,
And extra class only with me today.
yeah, yeah. I like to push everything into the week, so I get to rest in the weekends.
Okay. You're very hard working. Here, easy question. Like, I mean the poetic thing, the poetic exercise you do very fast. But actually, it involves no logic, right? Just word and
It's short and easy to comprehend.
yeah, just
No, it's
comprehend.
short and easy to comprehend. So.
But to get um, to master to solve hard question, you really have to work with logic. Just not some hard, but they just revolves around the correlation, like today lesson. Yeah, just around the relationship and like Okay, so you choose D. Okay. Land of Enchantment is a travel book by Lin Waiting. In the book, which describes the experience of it. Oh my god, here. Experience of traveling through the southern western by train. Okay. Whiting reflects on the escape from everyday life that such journey provides. So, our key, um, the keywords we can note down here is the escape from everyday day life. That's the key phrase, right? Escape from everyday life. So one experiences a certain sense of detachment from ordinary. Yeah, we have the detachment here, like the other way of saying escape, right? From ordinary day and daylight duties that is exhilarating. It's very painful here, right? Painful, extremely painful. So, yeah, I think that's the answer. Also, yeah, continue to do one more. I think you've mastered this kind of exercise, the poetic thing. Nắng chiếu lên hàng cây dài. Okay, so you choose C, right? Let's see. In story, the narrator explains that she prefers her hometown to other places she has visited. Oh, that's straightforward. I have had a good deal of journeying in my life. Okay, she has visited many places and taken great delight in it. Okay, she has joy in doing that. But I have never taken greater delight than my rides and drives and tramps and voyages within the borders of my native town. Okay, so a native town never have any greater delight. Okay, so that's actually, let's see the other three choice. There is always something fresh, something to be traced and discovered, something particularly to be remembered. That's so vague, right? So vague, not proving anything. Two large rivers join just below the village at the head of Tidewater, and these, with a great inflow from the sea, make a magnificent stream, bordered by lovely green fields that slope gently long lines of willows. They just, paint like a picture, but not proving anything also. There is never ending pleasure in making oneself familiar with such a region. Okay? Never ending pleasure in making oneself familiar with such a region. So not what we need to find also. Please work more with logic, you know. Just look at the board, like, holy. Can we access the board, like access the old board? Let me check. It's view only. It's actually view only. You can view it again. So yeah, you can view it all over again. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hoo, 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 hoo. You can still view it. So yeah. When today lesson end, please look at the board again. Actually, pay attention to the transitive logic, like the relationship, the way of mapping your thinking, mapping the relationship between variables. Okay, very important. I mean, like, when you study so much and as an avid learner, like extensive learner, I learned so much, both the English and the math thing. I have to study math a lot since I was a child. Yeah, and I also develop my linguistic skill, right? So I always have something um, like my takes in advice to for avoiding brain overload is that you should actually take some time in your day to just, you know, let your brain rest. Yeah, not just scrolling phone, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, or something like that. You just let um, let let your brain blank, not thinking anything, and yeah, that's when your brain actually rests. Just 10 minutes and your brain can recover. uh, okay, do this. I often lie on the floor and not thinking anything, and it really put my mind at ease. Okay, so A. Let's see. In the novel, Austen describes Dashwood's ability to persuade others in the rightness of her artistic judgments, as is evident when Marianne visits with John, a potential suitor. So we need to prove what? We need to prove Dashwood ability to persuade others in rightness of her artistic judgment. So the ability to persuade others. That's our phrase, right? Above all, when she heard him declare that of music and dancing he was passionately fond, she gave him such a look of approbation as secured the largest share of his discourse to herself for the rest of his stay. Uh, what is that? Heard him declare music and dancing, a look of approbation as secured in the largest share of his discourse to herself for the rest of his stay. Oh my god. Let's move to the choice B. Their taste was striking alike. Okay? The same books, the same passages were idolized by each. For or if any difference appeared, any objection arose, it lasted longer than till the force of her arguments and brightness of her eyes could be displayed. Hmm. Not really talking about the the ability to persuade. It was only necessary to mention any favorite amusement to engage her to talk. She could not be silent when such points were introduced, and she had neither shyness nor reserve in their discussion. Okay, it was only necessary to mention. Okay, ability. They speedily discovered that their enjoyment of dancing and music was mutual. Okay, the enjoyment. And that it arose from the general conformity of judgment in all that related to either. Okay. Encouraged by this to a further examination of his opinions, she proceeded to question him in subject of books. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a because like the they do not highlight his ability to um her ability her ability to persuade. Yeah, to mention any favorite amusement. Okay, so like the B they said that the taste was strikingly alike. Okay, the same books, the same pages were idolized by each, or if any difference appeared, any objection arose, it lasted longer to the force, no longer till the force of her arguments and brightness of her eye could be displayed. No way. I think B is actually better, man. Do you think that? Like, the taste was strikingly alike, same look. So, like, for if any difference appeared, any objection arose, it lasted no longer till the force of her arguments and brightness of her eye could be displayed. Yeah, like the persuade the persuasive force of her is like the ability to persuade is like it because she actually persuade others so good that any objection lasted no longer till the force of her arguments and brightness of her eye could be displayed. You know, that's the that's a way of you know exaggerated exaggerating her ability to persuade. Yeah, that's the one way to. It just exaggerate. It's much more like when she look at the choice. They say that when she heard him declare music was passionately fun, she gave him a look of approbation. I mean, like approbation, it means that like she was very um doubt, like she doubted she doubted it. She actually doubted it, like a probation, a look of probation. That means she doubted it, and secured the largest of his discourse to herself for the rest of his stay. Yeah, discourse. Do you have any question?
Not really. No.
Do you think my explanation has any flaws or something?
I don't know. I haven't really watched. I haven't really read Sense of Sensibility yet, so I don't really know what to say.
What?
Em chưa đọc cái quyển đấy cho em không biết ạ.
No, you don't actually need to read that. You just need to guess. You know, like already know that these lines, these uh, choice here is like citing some citing from the novel, right? They're citing directly from the novel, and the novel is writing in terms of the third perspective, right? From the third perspective, you know, the audience is like the person that's watching the character talking and interacting with each other, right? Ah, a look of approbation. It actually suggests the sign of agreeing, of agreement. Yeah, sign of agreement. A look of approbation. It means that agree. She agrees. She agrees that his taste, you know, his taste of music and dancing. But they really have to highlight the ability to persuade. So that's our takeaway phrase here. Need to take away and store it in our head, and from that we choose the right answer. So I think that's B. I actually show that they have something already in common, but not highlighting our key phrases here is that that her ability to persuade. Just we find a hint. I think that's here is a good question. Oh my god. the textual again, but this time no poetic. Please do that. Oh, it should be smaller. Oh my god. Okay, so A is your answer. Let's see. Many insects are iridescent or have colors that appear to shimmer and change when seen from different angles. Okay, so they actually explain for us, right? Many scientists have assumed that this feature helps to attract mate, but could also attract predators. Okay, attract mates, but also attract predators. But biologist Karin and team had the idea that the shifting appearance of colors might actually make it harder for other animals to see iridescent insects. Okay, so maybe the predators will not see them, right? And to test this idea, the team put the beetle forewings on the leaves along forest path and then asked human participants to look for them. Some of the wings were naturally iridescent, others were painted with a non-changing color from the iridescent spectrum, such as purple or blue. So, like the last sentence, they provide us with the information said that there's like a control group, right, to test the effect, like the control group. That's the this this kind of the concept of control group I've already presented to you before, right? So yeah, let's see. Support the team's idea. So the team's idea is that it make it harder for other animal to see. So on average, participants found most of the purple wings and blue wings, and far fewer of. So they mostly found purple wings and blue wings, but much fewer iridescent wings. I mean, the control group here is the group that is made that looks like iridescent spectrum, like iridescent color, but it's not actually iridescent because it cannot change the color, right? So yeah, so they established this group to make sure that um, the you know the fact that they cannot see this, not because their color is hard to see, but actually because it can change color, and it can hide from animals from those changing color, but not the color itself is hard to see, right? So that's the idea. That's the control group. This kind of concept I already presented, right? So yeah. So the fact that they found most of the purple wings and blue wings prove that um, the changing color, like the iridescent effect, actually works. Yeah, and that's A. I agree. Of course, to make sure that your answer is legit, look at through the other three answers. Okay, so on average, participants found the iridescent wings faster than they found the purple wings or blue wings. Oh, that's actually against what we need to prove, right? Some participants reported that purple wings were easier to see than blue wings. No, that's to think purple wings and blue wings is the in the same group, right? Some participants successfully found all the wings on the leaves. Okay, so if they found all the wings, it means that there's no difference between two groups, right? The changing color and non-changing color. So that's also against what we need to prove. Okay, you excellently answer this question. So I mean, it's also the end of our lesson today. So do you have any question?
Nó không ạ?
Okay, so you're satisfied with what you learned today, right?
Dạ.
Did you learn something today?
Cái gì ạ?
Did you learn something new today?
In
Pick up any
inversely related. Cái đấy.
Okay,
Ờ,
yeah. The relationship, right? Positive and negative, right? Yeah. So goodbye. Good night.
Em chào anh.
Okay. Bye bye.